Hi there everybody, this is Shane R. Monroe, and I'm going to show you around Black Ops 4 Zombies. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's new in here, and while many videos are going to show you how to find the Easter eggs and whatnot, I'm going to take you through some of the basics, just to sort of get you familiar with it. So we have a whole bunch of different maps, right? So we have 4 different stories, which is usually unusual. We usually get one story, one zombie map with the game. And classified is if you purchase the season pass, you get that as a bonus map. But you have 4 different stories. You get sort of a Titanic, a Gladiator one, an Alcatraz map, and of course the old Area 51 style map. In addition to the maps, you have different modes of play in this classic mode. Casual, normal, hardcore, and realistic. Casual is great if you just want to get your feet wet. You'll have a good time with it. It's a little more laid back. Obviously, from there it just gets harder. You can play these maps publicly, like the 9 map, Blood of the Dead, Classified, etc. You can play these with what we call randos, or random people, publicly. You can also play a version of zombie maps called Rush. And Rush uses the same maps, but instead of earning cash, grinding, opening doors, etc., these rush modes will basically throw you into a room, throw a bunch of zombies at you, make you go to the next room, throw more zombies at you, etc., etc. You pick up these coins, and it's an arcade mode. It's really great. You can also play that with randos publicly as well. Then, of course, there's a tutorial mode. You've probably already played that, but if you haven't, I recommend you do so. We're going to go into a classic scenario here, and we're going to look at this 9 map. And we are going to look at, let's go ahead and just say that we're going to do a solo match. This will put us into the game mode proper. So one of the things that I've been asked a couple of different times is, how do I pick who I get to be? The answer is, it's random. So if you were to leave, I don't know how often you have to do this to get it to change characters for you. Yeah, there you go. Now I get to be the girl, right? Everyone wants to be the girl. You want to be the hot redhead. Then you're just going to have to go back and forth, in and out, in and out, in and out, until you get the character that you want. It's just the way it is. You can select your class from here, and we're going to talk about classes in a minute. Something you might not have noticed are bots. So along with yourself playing a solo match, you can add up to 3 bots to play along with you. These bots are not particularly smart. They will get you up, they will keep themselves alive, they'll buy themselves new guns, but the honest truth is that they will sometimes open doors too, but there's no way to really control them or help direct them. So they're really sort of just the Michael Knights, if you will, like Zombies in Spaceland. These guys are just around to pick you up and to hopefully divert some of these zombies away from you. Unfortunately, doing challenges like consecutive headshots or things like that make it very difficult to have bots with you. So if you're going to do challenges and that sort of thing, you'll probably want to leave the bot out. So we've got 3 different items down here, which of course create a class, armory, and laboratory. Let's start with said laboratory. So in the laboratory, you can spin for elixirs and talismen. So the more of this liquid, what do they call it, nebulum in here, but it's really like liquid divinium from Black Ops 3, right? So you get this for playing. I'm imagining at some point you'll be able to pay cash money or COD points for it. But this liquid divinium is used, or nebulous, or whatever it's called in this one. This will allow you to spin. So if you spend 30, which I only have 22, or I'd spin for you, you get 3 random elixirs and maybe get a talisman. If you're willing to pay 45, you get 3 elixirs. One of them guaranteed to be rare or better, and a chance of getting said talisman. And finally, you get 2 random elixirs, 1 guaranteed, but you're also guaranteed to get a talisman. So you're thinking probably the talisman are pretty cool, but they're really just another consumable. Let's go back. So let's go to the armory next. The armory, so it's sort of a misdirection here, because it's like, oh, I can choose my guns and all that stuff. You really can't. What you can do here is set your weapons up for when you get them inside the game. For example, if there's an ICR that you pull off the wall, then this ICR is the one that you're going to get. Now, right now, I don't have anything open, no attachments or optics or anything. So if I were to buy an ICR off the wall or get one in the mystery box, I'm going to get that. So as you unlock weapons, right? As you unlock these weapons, you'll be able to customize them if appropriate, right? You can see I can't customize anything. But you still have to unlock them first through play, right? So you unlock them first. For example, this says it's available at level 25, level 32, level 44. So you can still get these guns even as a level 1 player through the mystery box or off the wall, as the case may be. But you can't customize them until you've unlocked them. And you'll want to customize them. You'll want to make them as powerful as possible, right? So if you get it in the box or if you happen to pull it off the wall, you're going to get the best possible weapon. So that's the armory. A little bit confusing how that works, but let's go into create a class. This is where things get a little bit crazy. Along the top, you have what you would call your classes. Right? Each class has a separate configuration of stuff, and we're going to go into what the different stuff is and why it's important that you pick the right one. All right, so sorry about that, got a little distracted there. Along the top you have these classes, right? And each class allows you to have your own elixirs, talismen, perks, weapons, equipment, etc. All right, so let's just start with the Guardian. So these are the elixirs that you have. Green elixirs are returned to your, they're non-consumables, right? So let's go into one of these. They're also called classic. All of these green ones, you'll notice that there's no little number in the upper corner. That means you can use these every single time you play, and you'll still have them later. So the next time you play, you'll always be able to use the green elixirs again. So you can set up to 4 elixirs. Now, outside of the classic ones, you do have consumables. Now, these are the elixirs that are being made from your liquid, your Nexium liquid, right? As you can see, there's a little number denoting how many of them you have. So when you equip this and you use it in the game, it goes away. Notice I have 0 of these other ones. So these are my common elixirs. I've got actually more rare elixirs than I have common elixirs. But you'll notice down here, it'll tell you exactly what they do. Spawns an insta-kill, spawns 1,250 points, power up, etc., etc., right? Legendary ones, I have no legendary ones, but these are like Fate and Fortune cards. Every version of Zombies has something similar. They've just extrapolated them a little bit. So if you're used to playing Zombies in Spaceland, these are the red cards, right? And then everything else to the right of those are considered blue cards. They're blue cards, consumables. So you got to decide what you want to load up and what you want to use and take with you. I typically tend to stick with the common ones because I actually end up forgetting to use them half the time anyway, which is a huge mistake because you'll know as well as the next person that if you used Fate and Fortune cards in Zombies in Spaceland, it was definitely useful. You just have to remember to use these things. So that's your elixir configuration. Let's go over here. Special weapons. Alright, so you have 4 special weapons. These are also known as wonder weapons. But these you get right away. Right? So in this case, the Scepter of Ra is the one that this particular class has started off with. So these tell you exactly what they do. This one, each one of these has a neat little goodie behind it. Scepter of Ra shoots this beam of slowing disintegration energy. Hammer of Valhalla is like running around with a Thor hammer, spanking him into the air. This one lets you have a throwing weapon, sort of a glaive. I don't know if I've actually played with this. Oh yeah, it's just a cool super sword. But here's the cool thing. As you're playing with these, per game, not overall, it's not like an RPG where you grind with them and then the next time you play you get that grinding back. If you were to play with the Scepter of Ra and you use the Scepter of Ra, it starts charging up its own sort of experience. If you remember from Shaolin Shuffle, when you were taking those elixirs to help you perform kung fu, after you did a certain amount of that Kung Fu, it upgraded it to a level 2 or a level 3. Same thing with these. The more you use it, the more powerful they get over time, but it is restricted to that particular session. Equipment is what you have for your starting equipment, which is either grenades, an acid bomb, which is kind of cool. There's claymores and some other stuff, sentries, but you know, you got to unlock those. I think sentries, what, 55? Oh, 46 level that you have to get to. Finally, your start weapon. Don't get too excited. Your start weapon pretty much sucks. So at level 44, you'll get that. At level 16, that's interesting. Yeah, at level 16, you'll get that. And then finally, these are your other starting weapons that you can get. As you can see, my only choice for a starting weapon is the Welling. So, guess what? That's what it is. As you progress in the game, you'll be able to unlock other ones to, you know, start off with. You will notice that there are no, there's no shotguns in here, which is too bad. Oh, except, I'm sorry, there is one here. It's at the end. But you don't get that until level 50. So happy hunting. All right, last but not least, perks. Okay, so in every other game, you have perk machines, right? Every other zombie game. You had machines, you would go and find them, the Juggernog machine, revive, you know, quick revive. In this version of the game, several of your favorite machines have been removed, like, say, Juggernog. However, you are able to, based on location inside the game, this one's located in Odin's tower, this one's in Zeus's tower. So these items, these statues or perk machines, if you will, exist at 4 different points in the map, and they're fixed, so you'll always know where they're at. You can assign what perk you want available at that particular location, right? So if you find, as you're playing the game, that you always end up at Zeus's statue first, based on the way you play, you probably want to put the appropriate perk here. You do unlock perks over time, and you do get a handful that were pre-made. A lot of these are going to be familiar to you: quick revive, stamina up, electric burst, which is like blue bolts. But there are a few new ones in here that you might find interesting. I would definitely decide which of these you get to first based on your gameplay, and then appropriately assign your favorite perks to that particular location's perk machine. Talismen. You know, I've never used a talisman yet. I know what they do, but they're just another gumball. These are just one more level of gumball to keep you interested. So, as you can see, you can tell by the numbers in the corner, I got 2 of these, that you're going to use them every time you're playing. So when you start the game, whether you use it, there's no way to turn it on. The elixirs, you actually have to use it to consume it. Talismen are just a sort of a passive skill that you get immediately when you start the game, but it consumes the talisman when you use it. Obviously, I don't have a lot of talisman, right? So this is one of those things where I think that they made the talisman really hard to get, because obviously it costs you 75 of your liquid Nexium or whatever it is. So yeah, it's just another way of abstracting out specialties and forcing you to use consumables to get other consumables. So it's all part of the sort of the microtransactional facade that they put in front of you to try to make you feel better about playing and spending, you know, eventually spending money to buy consumables that help you make other consumables, which in the end are consumed and you don't get to keep any of it. So keep that in mind. So that's that. So this is your class in total: the weapons and equipment you start with, the perk machines, and what you want your perks to be, your elixirs, and finally your talisman. And that's it. So now you know how to create a class, you know how to use your liquid Nexiums or whatever it is, and finally you also know that from time to time, as you unlock weapons, you are going to want to go into the armory and make sure you set those things up and configure them with the proper attachments and whatnot to help you play. You also know about bots, how you can add bots to help play with you. If you're trying to maybe solve the quests instead of actually doing challenges. And that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this overview of zombies. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy my other videos. This is Shane R. Monroe. Thanks for watching.